Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I'm Harrison Graham, and on today's show, we're going to take a look at some candidates to replace Eric Bieniemy on the Chiefs coaching staff. We'll take a look at some specifics later on, and take that with a grain of salt. Probably an obvious candidate to become OC, but some of the names we'll talk about could still replace him on staff as the quarterback's coach. We'll kind of further explain here in just a moment. But speaking of Eric Bieniemy, if you want to wish him the best of luck, drop a like on today's show. Look, I know there's been a lot of opinions out there about Eric Bieniemy, but the reality is in 5 years as offensive coordinator, this team won 2 Super Bowls. I think you got to give him some credit for Patrick Mahomes' development. So I personally wish him the best. I hope he does well in Washington. If you agree, go ahead and hit that thumbs up icon on today's show. Now, the obvious candidate to replace Bieniemy as offensive coordinator is Matt Nagy, who's currently on staff as the quarterback's coach, and Rappaport reported on Friday that Nagy quickly emerges as the top candidate to become the Chiefs offensive coordinator. Another report, I think from Mike Garafolo, suggested that Nagy had interest from other teams, but he waited this out due to the fact that he knew Bieniemy would likely go pursue a new opportunity, which that has obviously played out. Why Matt Nagy makes sense? Well, he's held this title before. 2016 and 17, he was the Chiefs offensive coordinator, ended up getting the Bears head coaching job because of it. He's an Andy Reid guy, and Patrick Mahomes trusts him. So if QB1 signs off on him and Andy Reid's comfortable with it, it seems like a natural promotion. I expect Nagy to take a notch up from senior assistant coach and quarterbacks coach to offensive coordinator, a position he once held before. And quite frankly, if you want to think long term, he could be in the driver's seat to replace Andy Reid if and when he retires as the Chiefs head coach, which would be a wild story considering his time in Chicago was a bit underwhelming. Do you want Matt Nagy as the Chiefs offensive coordinator? Maybe you want someone else. If you do want him, type Y for yes. If you don't, type N for no. Now, today's show is sponsored by Vincero Collective, and Vincero sponsoring today's show with their awesome watches and other accessory that you can get. If you aren't familiar with Vincero yet, they are essentially a design house for modern men and women, crafting really sleek watches, sunglasses, and more. I have several watches from them, and they are among the favorites I own. One of the ones I have from them is called the Chrono S watch, which I'm rocking right now. I've gotten tons of compliments on it over the past few weeks, and it's clear from the first impression how well they are made. It serves as the daily driver, perfect daily driver for me over the past few months because of how versatile this watch is. I also got one of their women's pieces for my wife, Hannah. She absolutely loves it. Feels like she hasn't even taken it off since I gave it to her a couple of months ago. Based on the West Coast, Vincero, GQ actually recently called Vincero their go-to brand for modern accessories, and it's easy to see why. You need to go check them out if you haven't already. Right now, go do so. You can get 20% off when you go to VinceroCollective.com/chat and use promo code chat. Watches, sunglasses, bracelets, other items as well. That link is in the comments and in the description. VinceroCollective.com/chat. Looking at Matt Nagy's time in Chicago, obviously, I mentioned it earlier, underwhelming. His first year, 2018, was definitely the best. 21st in total offense, 9th in scoring offense, but pretty steady, underwhelming after that. No better than 22nd in either category, mostly mid-high 20s. So didn't really work out, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I think a big reason is they just couldn't get quarterback figured out in Chicago. Mitchell Trubisky was someone that Nagy wasn't that high of when he was evaluating quarterbacks for the Chiefs in 2017. He inherits Trubisky, who had 38 starts for Nagy in Chicago. Chase Daniel had to start a few games. Nick Foles they traded for. That didn't work out. Andy Dalton, he was okay, had some injuries. Justin Fields, 10 starts, but he was a rookie, didn't have any first-team reps before he was thrown into action. So it's hard to say. I do think Nagy deserves a good amount of blame. The play calling was underwhelming at times. But with Andy Reid as the primary play caller in Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, I'm fine with Matt Nagy as OC. Again, he's had the position before. Mahomes trusts him. Reid trusts him. It's a natural promotion. I fully expect this to take place. Now, never miss any news here on the Chiefs Report because we are the #1 Chiefs YouTube channel out there. We're going to get you guys caught up on every storyline surrounding this team throughout the offseason. So go ahead and hit that sub button. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV, the #1 Chiefs channel, at least We like to think so. There's a lot of good ones out there, but if you're a fan of what we do, hit that subscribe button. So let's talk about some Bieniemy replacements. We just talked about Matt Nagy quite a bit, natural promotion. He's been there before. I think that is the likely scenario. But some of these names could still replace Bieniemy on staff. Bieniemy replacements is what I meant to say, by the way, earlier. How about Kliff Kingsbury? Kliff Kingsbury, even if it's not his OC, maybe he takes the Matt Nagy role that he took this year, kind of a failed tenure as a head coach, wants to rebuild his image, goes to familiar waters. What are the familiar waters for Kingsbury? Patrick Mahomes, coached him in college at Texas Tech. Maybe you bring him in as the Nagy role that he had this year as senior assistant and quarterbacks coach. He can coach Mahomes, have some input on the offense, and then, maybe he lands an OC gig next year somewhere else. I definitely think that could be a possibility. I like Kliff. I think he's a smart offensive mind. Him and Mahomes have a great relationship, so I think that could be a possibility. How about Greg Roman? Greg Roman, who was the Ravens offensive coordinator for the last several years and did a good job designing an offense around Lamar Jackson. Also interviewed for the Commanders job, which Bieniemy ultimately got as OC. Roman could add a lot for the running game. I think he could have major influence there. Now, he doesn't design passing games and concepts well at all, but Andy Reid's the primary play caller. I think Roman could be offensive coordinator in title and kind of the run game coordinator. That's really what his specialty would be, and he could, I think, ramp up this running game a little bit. We've got good backs with Pacheco, hopefully bring back Jarrett McKinnon. I actually like this idea quite a bit if you wanted to bring him on board in some capacity. Here's a little bit one of a curveball, then we'll get to a real wild card. How about Alex Smith? Alex Smith, who was the Chiefs starting quarterback for several years, groomed Patrick Mahomes for a season before Mahomes took over in 2018 and Smith landed in Washington. Alex Smith, I think, is the quarterback's coach. I don't think is OC, but as the quarterback's coach, Nagy is OC if he gets promoted, which he likely will. Smith is quarterback's coach. Who says no? If Alex Smith wants to get back into coaching, this is a perfect fit for him. He knows Mahomes. He knows Reid. He knows Nagy. These guys all know each other. They all get along. I think that could make some sense. I've always viewed Alex Smith as a potential coach in this league. Does he want to coach right now? I have no idea. I'm just throwing this out there. But I do think it's an interesting name to monitor as a potential possibility. Now, would you hire Alex Smith as the Chiefs quarterbacks coach? Type H for hire or P for pass. Let me know in the comment section down below. Curious to see what you guys think on this one. And then one more name. Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians, who I don't think was ready to be done coaching, but Tampa wanted to give Todd Bowles a chance. I think there was some Brady influence there. Great offensive mind, ultimate wild card here. And again, I don't think he'd be in as OC, but senior offensive analyst, quarterbacks coach, could add a different wrinkle or two to the offense. He's coached for a long time, has a lot of experience and a lot of success. Just throwing it out there. I have no idea if he would leave Tampa. He's still employed there as some kind of front office role because they value him, but who knows? Maybe it's an opportunity for him to jump back in as a coach. Just thought I would mention him as well. All right, that's going to do it for today's Chiefs Report. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Be sure to follow me on social media. It's at HGramNFL on Twitter, at HGramNFL on Instagram. Same handle, different platform. That is where you can find me. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your weekend. I'm Harrison Graham, signing off.